Dean Karnazes is quoted as saying, struggling and suffering is part of a life worth living. And I'm definitely having issues with that. You know, if you're not constantly pushing yourself out of comfort zone, well, not every day, but, you know, pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, you know, you're just not growing and you're just not really living life to its fullness. And I certainly am having that issue with these dang beta blockers. With my chat with Adam about his quest to get a Western States lottery ticket, he of course referred to Dean Karnazes and reading that book, which many of us did, on his quest to become an ultra runner. And, you know, I've read the book and then, of course, run into Dean a few times over the years. For the first time was up at a 50 miler up in San Francisco, which is his stomping grounds. And I was running the 50K, and we were coming into an aid station, 50 milers out there, and Dean caught me, and I ran like a half mile in with him. Nice guy, you know, just super friendly, you know, talking and thanking all the aid station people, talking to all the athletes. But I got to really spend some time with him. I think it was in 2016 when I was pacing and crewing a couple of my athletes, Joel and Natalie, at the Santa Barbara 100. And the Santa Barbara 100 is very hard. Santa Barbara is beautiful, and those mountains right behind it are rugged, trails are rough. Nighttime start, 6 p.m., makes it even rougher. And it was just kind of crazy. Out of the blue, Dean shows up with his daughter who went to college in the area. I think that's mainly why he was running. She was crewing him, and he decided to do the 100 miler. And he was going pretty good, but then things started kind of going sideways for him. And he just kept going. He was just his pleasant, super fun self. Him and my runner, Joel, came into mile 70 together after climbing up this hellacious hill in the hot sun, because like I said, it was a daytime start. And, you know, he's still just friendly, even though he's completely trashed. People coming up to him, talking about, you know, running and how inspiring he was. And he's just such a gracious guy. And it was funny. My runner was really tired. I was telling Joel, you need to take a nap. And so I finally get Joel to sleep, and he's sitting next to Dean. And Dean, even though he's tired and all that, he looks at me and goes, Andy, take a picture. And so Dean put his head on Joel's shoulder, and it was like napping with Dean, which was very, very funny and very, very thoughtful of it. Later on in the race, got to like mile 85 aid station, and I was there waiting for my runner, and he was, you know, going through there, and he was having a rough time. And I remember, you know, him just talking to all the kids who were working at the aid station, a bunch of UC Santa Barbara sports types, and just the friendliest guy. And then, you know, he should have probably dropped. He kept going. It was like 34, 35 hours. I remember someone saying, I think he finished Spartathlon faster than that. So, like I said, I've run into him a few times. Always been gracious and a really fun guy to hang out with. Now, you know, pushing yourself out of the comfort zone from time to time is really where it's at. And unfortunately, now that I've recovered from my fall and hospitalization, which was almost a year ago, I'm on this medication, as I've talked about, and especially these beta blockers, and I just can't push myself. And so I'm often out here doing these workouts, and my heart rate will be below 100, and I can't get into the discomfort zone. And it's kind of disheartening, especially yesterday. I was kind of having a rough time where in the morning I was training and just couldn't do it. And then I went out and walked with some friends, and that was a little better, but it's still kind of difficult to accept. You know, you're putting in this work, but kind of put in the work so that you can get away from everything for a little while. And, you know, I was watching the Billions show, and they're talking to the doctor gal, talking to one of the traders, one of the women, and, you know, what does she do on her free time? And they were saying how, you know, she goes out and runs, and she just runs so she can forget. And I can't do that now. You know, this just may be my new reality that I have to accept, but it's difficult to just kind of go out and put the work in more just as maintenance and not really be able to push the edges. But, you know, the beta blockers block adrenaline, and so at least when I'm training, I just can't get moving. And then, of course, with this whole COVID, obviously, we haven't had races. So maybe when races come back, I'll be able to pull myself out. Thank you guys for all the support and subscribing. I had a wife the other day comment about she'd seen one of my videos about ejection fraction and how her husband just got out of hospital with his in the mid-30s, and watching the video, me talking about ejection fractions in my story gave her some hope. And, you know, what I would just say is, you know, Get a good doctor. I found a great one. They're not easy to find. Follow him, listen to him, have him listen to you, and, don't just sit on the couch and wait to, pass. Get out there and do what you can. I always talk about walking, and walking, I think, is definitely the way to go. Just start off small steps. My wife, 2017, 4 years ago, started doing that. She goes out regularly and does 45, 50 minutes a day, and is a lot healthier. And so that's why I'd say to people with, congestive heart failure and other health issues is, do something. Get out there and move as much as you can. Be safe about it. And I always say, stay healthy or get healthy. Be boring, not epic.